Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Um, okay, so I'm preparing this recording now. It's time to cover the presentation. So I would like to explain a few things that you need to understand and prepare for the presentations that will be held next week. Okay, so you should know this already based on what we have shared before in your brief that the assessment that is under me, first thing is the research proposal that is to be submitted by the end of this week. Then the other one is presentation, or the defense presentation that we can call it for the research proposal, and that carries 20 marks. So when are we going to have this? We are going to have this next week. So I'll be showing you later on the schedule or the time slots that are available for you to choose to do the presentations. Um, Very briefly, I just would like to say that the presentation will be done online. The main reason is because, or the only reason is because there are still a number of students who cannot make it to physical meetings because of COVID-19 related issues. So because of that, I feel it is only fair that we do something that is available for everyone, and that is online presentation. Regardless of whether you have COVID or you are under quarantine, I think online presentation is something that you can still do. If I were to do some students physical presentation, some physical online, I feel that would not be fair to everyone. Okay, so that's the main reason. Okay, now what do you need to prepare for the presentation? This is very simple. I've explained this to you before, and you can find all the information or the documents here in your Open Learning page. So if you go back to research proposal, click here. So you will find this document called poster presentation. So what you find over there is basically the template to be used for the presentation. You download this and basically you will get this. All right, so the presentation, basically, I would like to standardize your preparation. So there's only one slide, and this slide that we call a poster. This is actually a very common way of doing exhibition of any research project. We have it in one big poster, and we have all the main information put into tables or boxes like this. So it's more like a one-page summary of everything that you have put into your research proposal. But this is, of course, we are doing this for the purpose of you as the presenter. This is what you refer to when you present your proposal to me. Okay, so what do you put in over here? Now, these are basically all subheadings or headings that are similar to what you have in your proposal. However, please do remember this and remember this very, very clearly. Do not just simply copy and paste your paragraphs in your research proposal and then you put it here, right? So I don't want to see like small fonts over here that covers your entire introduction as what you have in your proposal. What you need to do is basically put in information that is related to every section over here in point form. And then you explain. So basically, or the reason why we are having this presentation is for you, of course, to explain your proposal to me in your words, and for me to also test whether you really understand what you're doing. Okay, so the presentation then needs to be very precise, straight to the point, covering the information as stated over here. Okay, so I can show you an example of a good poster presentation from previous semester. So this is one. So as you can see over here, all the points are in point form or numbered. Right, so the student will be putting this information over here like this, and then he or she will be presenting it. Your presentation for individual students is 20 minutes, but you should be presenting only for about 10 to 12 minutes, and after that, I'll be asking you questions. Okay, so whatever questions I ask would normally be in relation to what you already have in your proposal. So it's more about me trying to test your level of understanding about what you are what you have put in your proposal and your justification and your reasoning why you have put in certain things, such as, why quantitative sampling method, for example, why qualitative, um, which research question is related to which methodology. Maybe some of you have your methods is mixed. Some of it you are doing survey at the same time you're also doing maybe open-ended survey questions or maybe a short interview or focus group discussion. You should be able to explain for each research question what is the methodology or the methods that is linked to it. Okay, so that is one, in a way, tip or suggestion that I can give you for your preparation for the presentation next week. Now, information over here, introduction, review, literature, research question is as what you already have in your proposal. You summarize that in point form and explain that to me later on. Now, what is maybe a bit confusing is this one, specialization area. Now, here is where you need to relate to your topic. So for UPPR students, right, Bachelors of Public Relations, this should be something that is very straightforward. Your specialization area is public relations. But for some other students, maybe it's not so much clearly associated with an area of study. So what do you put over here? Now, what I generally would suggest, your specialization area that you put over here is related to one of the four areas of specialization that we have in the UCOM program. And that is advertising marketing, broadcasting journalism, corporate communication, and the other one is visual communication. For students who are in media production program, UPMP, you may put your specialization over here, media production. If you want to have like another sub area, maybe because it's media production, but on media culture and society, or intercultural communication, or communication law, because it relates maybe to the topic, then you can actually add another one. Whichever the case, I don't think it's logical to have in this particular box, specialization area of topic, that you have more than two specialization areas. Should be only one, maybe two, but that's it. More than two, uh, that would be quite weird because that shows a lack of focus in terms of what you are trying to do. Okay, so all the other information over here is summary, right? Now, literature review probably would be an issue because you probably have referred to like 10 or maybe even more than that, a number of academic journals. So what do you put over here? So this is something that I leave to your own creativity. Some students may actually put the point form based on your subsection in your literature review, the 3.1, 3.2, or based on what you have in the subheadings that you have in your literature review. Some students may actually want to cover some of the or few of the major references only. That's okay also. Whichever the case, your review literature as you put the information over here should in a way give a very concise but at the same time comprehensive understanding about where the knowledge that we have now about this topic is at what level, where it is now, right? So as you remember what I told you about writing literature review, the reason for writing this is for us to understand what is the current knowledge that we have about this topic. And then later on, as you end your literature review, you come in and say, this is how your research is going to add further knowledge to what we already know, right? Pointing out to the gap in the knowledge, or pointing out what is the um, expansion of understanding, right, that you are going to investigate for your own research later on. Okay, so understand the purpose, again, the general purpose of literature review, and then you put that again over here in your points to be presented later on. Now, ethical consideration can be the things that you have definitely put in your research proposal, informed consent, privacy of information. So those are some of the major ones, but some of you who may have a few unique ethical consideration, you can put it here also. References as well, there are some issues maybe in terms of how many you can put in over here, because you may have, 10 or maybe even, more than 20 references, because you cover maybe also a number of references for your introduction. So what do you put over here? So I would say what you prioritize over here. So you need to prioritize then. So what you can prioritize would be the references that are from your literature review, the major references, okay, the research references. So you cover it over here, right? The rest of it, you don't need to put it over here, because this is just more for my reference in terms of what are the major research that you are referring to. In case that I want to understand more about your topic, or about what previous studies have done about your research based on what you have presented, I can go quickly here to the references that you have highlighted or prioritize in your presentation, and then I can read on my own. Okay, so that is basically the whole purpose of doing the presentation, right? So again, understand that you are not to simply copy and then paste your paragraphs that you have in your proposal into these boxes. Do some work, right? Put in point forms and then explain. Trust yourself to be able to explain what you have done in your own words. Do not just simply read from the slides. Okay, don't worry, you're presenting only to me, so it's a one-on-one presentation. So whatever questions I ask also would be just simply about what you already have done. I'm asking more for you to explain why, and and what do you think the benefit of this method, for example, or what do you expect to get, for example, or what problems or challenges maybe that you may face, when you do this research. So questions all are related to what you already have in your research proposal. If you want to know further about the rubric that outlines the expectations of the for the presentation, or the criteria for the marks I'll be giving for the presentation, then you can refer to the rubric. This one also you can find on Open Learning. You click back on Open Learning, go to assignment brief. Here you can find the marking rubrics for both the research proposal and also for the presentation. So for presentation, the rubric is this. Basically, the criteria that we're looking at would be content and organization, literature review, research methods, and then your presentation skills, basically. All right. So yeah, so there are 4 areas over here. So 5 marks each, 20 marks overall. Okay, so I hope this is clear, that you know what you need to do for your presentation. Again, bear in mind that the presentation is to be done using this template only. Do not use any other slides or PowerPoint or any other kind of presentation design. Only use this one. This is basically a socialist attempt of trying to have equality when it comes to presentation, because the primary goal of this presentation is not about aesthetic, it's not about beauty, it's about explaining things straight to the point and easy for everyone to understand. Okay, so it's more about practicality and, in a way, preciseness of information and understanding of the information that you have put. Okay, now presentation, like I said, will be done next week. I would like to try as best as I can to cover all presentations next week, because the week after next, I'll be busy doing presentations for the FYP students. So research methodology students, I would like to settle this next week. So the schedule that I have drafted is this. So again, same way that you booked your time slot for consultation earlier this semester. So you can see the link, click on the link that I've given on the Open Learning announcement. You will come to this particular Google document. So put in your name and your student ID to book the time slot that you prefer. So this is basically covering Monday until Thursday. starting from 8:20 in the morning, ends at 4:20 p.m. Of course, there will be breaks in between for me, basically. I would like to reserve Friday for only those with emergency cases. For students with medical reasons, I can consider postponing your presentation to the week after next. But as best as I can, as best as possible, please let's try and do all presentations next week. If not by Thursday, Friday also is uh, it's reserved or backup plan basically for you that I can choose from, but only when if it's necessary. As best as possible, these time slots actually is enough. We have 58 students in the class. This is 60 slots. So let's try and settle all presentation according to the or based on the list of available time slots that we see over here. Okay. So thank you very much. I trust that you guys will be submitting your proposal later on by the end of this week. If you have any issues with your Turnitin percentage, email me. I will have a look also. I will monitor the percentage of your similarity index on Turnitin. I do understand because I'm asking you to upload also the what do you call that, the cover page, right? So those information, the cover page would normally be highlighted as part of the similarity calculation. As the lecturer of the class or the assessor of the class, I can manually exclude that from the Turnitin calculation. So don't worry about that. I will do that if I see that your percentage, similarity percentage is more than 15%. The requirement is maximum 15%. So if it's more than 50%, I will have a look and see whether we can bring it down according to those things I mentioned just now. But if it is extremely high at a level of 25% and above, then I will contact these students individually and ask them to do some changes uh, to their proposal in order for us to bring down the similarity percentage. Okay, so I hope everything is clear. So I will see you guys during presentation next week. Okay, all right, take care.